welcome back. I am going to go through a few different things today that involve some stretching, some poses, and a little bit of balance. So we are going to start out today with just bringing ourselves to the mat and coming down to the floor. So in order to do that, again, starting at the top of our mat, we're just taking a moment here, bring ourselves into our mountain. We're going to inhale our arms up, and we're going to exhale, bending at the knees to our forward folds. Just feeling that position for a moment. Bring our hands to the mat. We're going to step back with our right foot, followed by our left. Coming into our down dog. And we talked about down dog last week, so pressing in with our starfish hands, focusing on alignment, stacked joints. Knees are probably still bent. Inverted V, pressing in here with both the feet and the hands. In our down dog, we're going to bring those knees to the mat. And from there, we're just going to sit back, go for our heels as we come down to the mat. We're going to bring those back sides to the mat, taking our feet long in front of us. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today, I'm going to do a couple of seated warm-ups. Legs are long, toes are pointing towards the ceiling, straight backs, tall. We're going to do a seated forward fold. Inhaling our arms up, exhaling, just lengthening our bodies. We're going to keep as much as we can a straight back. We don't really want to hunch and round. We just want to reach forward with our fingertips out. Toes are still trying to be pointed towards the ceiling. And you're only going to go as far as you can comfortably stretch. So wherever that is, that's where you want to stop. And you're just reaching. Bring those palms flat to the mat. We're going to inhale up and exhale. Inhaling those arms up again. Looking up at the sky as we exhale. Forward fold. Maybe trying to go a little bit further this time. Again, leading with our chest. Backs are straight, more than rounded and hunched. And if you'd like, you can maybe try to grab a hold of those toes just to help deepen the stretch, pull yourself forward a little bit. You may be further in a forward fold than this. Maybe you are able to fold yourself in half and literally bring your nose to your knees. That's definitely not where I am. So just hanging out here for a couple. Bring those hands flat to the mat, inhaling up and exhaling. And trying one more time, inhaling those arms up. Exhaling forward, reaching, maybe drawing that body forward. And trying to go a little bit further in that stretch this time. Not overdoing it, just trying to get a little bit further each stretch. Bring those hands to the mat, inhaling up and exhaling. So the next thing we're going to talk about is staff pose. So with staff, we're seated again, staying just as we are in our seated forward fold position, placing our hands beside us on the mat. You can use our flat hands beside us, or if it's easier, we're going to use fists for wrists. And basically with the staff pose, we're going to try and engage all of the muscles in our body and press our hands, our shins, calves, thighs, everything backsides down onto the mat, trying to press down while also acting as though we're going to be lifting our bodies up off the mat, but we don't actually want to come up off the mat. We just want to engage those muscles, tighten those muscles up, and hold it, and then we're going to relax. You want to breathe through all of the stretches. So when you get into your pose, you want to hold and breathe at least 3 times deep Ujjayi breathing, so that you can kind of get a feel for how long you should be in a pose. 3 to 5 breaths is average. So starting here, we're going to put I use fists for wrists. I find that easier, or you can place your palms flat. But using fists for wrists, again, toes are pointed towards the sky. And we're going to inhale and engage. Inhaling, pressing down with all of those things that are touching the mat, engaging the muscles, the core, and engaging the heels, the calves, the thighs, the backside, pressing in and releasing back to the mat. On our next inhale, again, inhaling and engaging for 1, 2, and 3, releasing on that 3rd breath. And that gives you an idea of how long and deep your breath should be and how long you should hold in your poses as you're practicing. So that is our staff pose. So as we're sitting here already on the mat, we're just going to take and bend our knees slightly. We are going to practice our boat pose. A little bit of balance involved here. So with the boat pose, we're going to talk about modified boat and full boat. We're going to take our arms out in front of us, and then we're just going to lift one, then the other of our feet off of the ground. And this is our modified boat. And we can stay here in this pose, or we can extend those legs long for our full boat. Just trying to balance on that back side. Bringing those heels back to the mat for our boat. So again, inhaling, coming into our pose, and then breathing through. So again, reaching out in front of us, coming into modified or full boat. Exhaling. We want to take our time coming out of our positions, and that way we can control the release. When you release from a position, it's important not to just fall out of it, but try and actively release from it, controlling the movements, the muscles, and in the engagement. So balancing poses are another, and we're going to do one balancing pose today just to kind of get an idea of what we're talking about there. But from here, we're just going to bring those legs back around, coming up as if we were getting ready to do our cat and cow. But instead, we're going to talk about planks. So we're going to come up for our planks. Hands are going to be slightly in front of us. Again, starfish hands to help support and distribute weight. For plank, we can stay in modified plank, which is basically going to be pressing those legs back and coming forward. Still want to have a straight back and be supporting our upper body, but this is our modified plank. So we can stay there if we'd like, or we're going to come into our plank, turning over our toes and coming into full plank. In full plank, you want to make sure that your joints are stacked. Shoulders, elbows, wrists in the same line, straight backs. You want to try and keep your backside down instead of hunched up. A lot of people, when they come into planks, have a tendency to want to do that from here. But you really want to try and lower, engaging that core and staying in this position. Or, again, modified plank, dropping those knees to the mat, still maintaining that straight back, keeping that backside lower. And that is our plank position. Not only is that building, strengthening your muscles in your upper body, but also your core engagement is very critical here. So we use our planks a lot, at least in our class. We're using our planks to flow through our sun salutations and as part of our warrior flow. So when we're talking about doing those planks, always keep in mind that you can do the modified version and you're still doing yoga with your class. So you don't have to try and, go into the full position if you're not quite there yet. The other plank that we're going to talk about is our side planks. So when you're in your full plank or your modified plank, we're coming up here. For our side plank, we're going to bring our right knee to the mat and we're going to take that right foot out at our side. And we're going to come up for modified side plank. That knee is still on the mat. We're focusing on keeping a straight line here, keeping from allowing that hip to fall towards the mat in our modified plank, side plank. If we want to do full side plank, we're basically just shifting and taking that other leg long. Again, still trying to keep that hip from falling and maintaining that line in our side plank. Bringing that left hand back. We can shift back if we are more comfortable into the modified or full plank. So we do those variations throughout our warrior series as well. The last thing that we're going to talk about, and we're just going to come up here, pressing up, back from the mat. We're going to talk about a balancing pose. We haven't really done much with the balancing poses. I find it difficult to do them on carpet and mat. A little bit easier for me to do balancing poses on a solid floor, but we're going to try to accomplish at least tree pose. So as we talked a little bit about a moment ago with our balancing poses, it's important to keep that core engaged throughout your balancing poses. You want to find yourself a focal point that's a few feet in front of you and it doesn't move. So when you're in a class situation, you don't want to look at your neighbor. You don't want to focus on the instructor. You want to focus on something that is stationary. Maybe it's a spot on the floor. Maybe it's an item on the floor, whatever. Focus in on that. You want to then make sure that you're engaging the core muscles. And as you come into a balancing pose, you want to only go, as far as you can. With a tree pose, we have a couple of different positionings with the feet. When you first come into tree, you're going to either have the option to bring your heel to your ankle. You can bring that foot up against your calf. Or if you're able, and I'm not, you can bring that, and I'm going to use this wall to help, but you can bring that foot up above the knee against the thigh. So whatever is going to be the most comfortable for you and also what you can do balance-wise. I cannot find and maintain my balance on this soft carpet and the mat. So forgive me, we're going to walk through it, but once you get into that pose and we're holding in that tree, when we go to release, you want to also make sure that you're maintaining that core during your release. So instead of just falling out, bringing your arms down, letting that leg come back to the mat, you want to take a moment when you are releasing from your balancing pose to just do it slowly and with forethought and control. So we're going to try the tree. And then I'm going to try it on the carpet and off of the mat and see what we can do. We're going to come into our mountain pose, bringing those palms to heart center. We're going to shift our weight to our left foot. We're going to take the right heel to the left ankle, and we can stay here. Or we're going to bring the right foot up to the left calf. Or if you are more adventurous, you bring that right foot up to the inner thigh, but you don't want to press it against the knee. So if you're pressing that foot against your knee, you want to not do that. We are trying not to exert pressure on those joints. So it's either on the calf or on the thigh or at the ankle. So we're going to attempt that here. Shifting our weight to our left foot. Bringing that right foot to wherever is comfortable. Your right knee, you don't want it to be falling forward. You want that knee to be out at the side. Engaging your core to help keep that balance. Once you've found your balance, if you like, you can grow your limbs. Again, touching that toe back just to help if we need to restabilize. As we come out of our pose, we want to bring those palms back to heart center, and I'm having a little bit of difficulty. When we release the foot back, we want to do so slowly and coming back to the mat. And we're going to try the other side. Sometimes we have better balance on one side than the other. We're going to maintain those hands at heart center, shifting our weight now to our right foot, left ankle to the right, left heel to the right ankle, the calf or the thigh. Knee is out, and as you can see, sometimes we have better balance on one side than the other. Growing our limbs, finding that focal point. We'll bring our hands back to center. Ooh. And as we prepare to release back to the mat, again, you want to have a controlled release. Slowly, gently. Hands back at our sides. If you find that you are having a difficult time balancing on a softer, plusher environment, try a wooden floor, a solid floor, the ground outside, the cement. That can sometimes make a difference in being able to balance. So those are just a few things that we wanted to cover today. I would encourage you to try and practice some of that. I also hope to see you in class soon. The last thing that I wanted to go over with you is when we talk about namaste, just wanted to kind of give you an overview of what that actually means. So when we say namaste, nam means bow, as means I, and te means you. So namaste literally means bow me you, or I bow to you. I honor the place in you that is of light, love, truth, peace, and wisdom. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one. And I really would love to see so much more of that in the world today. So I leave you with this. As always, we can accomplish more together than we can apart. But I also truly thank you, and from the bottom of my heart, namaste.